Nuclear, the new normal. It's a very broad meaning and a very simple meaning also. Now, nuclearization or nuclear age or the race for nuclear weapons is the new normal. See, why this is in news? Just because of one tweet. It's not a tweet, it's his own social media platform, but you get the meaning, right? Just because of one tweet, the whole world, all the worlds which are capable of, will start what? A nuclear race, a nuclear arms race. Okay? Iconic image, mushroom cloud. After, see, nuclear weapons have been used against other nations only once. As of the whole history of humanity stands, only once in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But beyond that, almost all the P5 countries and a few others have done nuclear tests just to show that we have got nuclear weapons. We can use it when required. But after 1996, it was all brought to a halt. This is the whole brief story. Now we'll see. Donald Trump, I think you might have heard of him. He is the president of the United States, also known as what? POTUS, P-O-T-U-S. What he did was, he just tweeted. In simple, it means that other countries are doing nuclear tests, so we should also do. Other countries will move far ahead of us in the nuclear program, so we should also start doing it. And it has more nuclear weapons than Russia. Okay? These were the claims which he made. And another thing which I need to remind over here is, there's something which is known as fake news. Okay? And the other is misinformation. According to Indian Penal Code, there is jail for fake news. But misinformation, the only difference is that it is unintentional. But fake news is intentional. But what if someone intentionally produces fake news? We'll see in some other slides also what is going on. Okay? Now there are two things which you need to remember is the geopolitical constant. Right? When did he make such claim? See, G2 is a new phenomena, a new term which is up in the world market right now. G2 stands for first America and second China. See, there were G5, G7 to some extent, it was G8, then it turned to G7, G20. But now G2, only America and China. And it is said by who? Americans itself. It's not that China is proclaiming it. It is done by America. And the timing is very important. See, whenever any world leader would have, even if our prime minister would have said such thing, even if a defense minister would have said something, everyone would see what was the timing of it. Timing is the most important thing in geopolitics. In your exams also, timing is important. The timing was when Trump and Xi Jinping were about to meet. Just before that, he tweeted it. It means he was about to meet the Chinese president after like 6 to 8 months interval. And since prior to that, Trump has hit China with approximately 140%, 150%, sometimes 200% tariffs. And since that, this was the first time they both were sitting on a table and trying to talk. That was what was projected. But before sitting on the table, he tweeted something that, see, I'm coming to sit on the table, I'm coming to talk to you, but I've got a bigger weapon. That's what the geopolitical analysts are saying. And what Trump thinks that the Chinese might have thought. But see, the Chinese are smart people, we'll see. But this was them. And the another word which we'll learn today is new arms race. See, the nuclear race is channeling the arms race, and the arms race itself is channeling the nuclear race. Smaller weapons comes in the new arms race, and the big daddies, the nuclear weapons, the hydrogen bombs comes in the nuclear arms race. But both are interconnected. One is powering the other. That was a brief story. Now see step by step what's going on. The whole tweet was summarized in 2 parts. Remember, America's got most number of nuclear weapons. From this map, which is according to America itself, false. Russia has the largest number. It has had for decades, and the whole world has known it, and it recognized it and has accepted it. But still, according to Trump, US has. And the second was that a few countries, he didn't mention the name of the country, that others are conducting nuclear tests. Now see, this is the actual last when nuclear tests happened. I'll show you. Where's the pen? Okay, here's the pen. See, Russia did last nuclear test in 1990 itself. UK did it in 1991 and USA did it in 1992. Since that, the only disobeying country is, it's not over here, is North Korea, which did it in 2017. Okay? This is also like 7 to 8 years back. But according to fake news or misinformation or the advisors that Trump has, it is being conducted on. See, that's the difference. See, the whole world is trying to bring what? Digital bill, digital protection bill, so that what? Fake news should be stopped. WhatsApp, all the social media platforms are having own team, algorithm is running, so that happens what? Fake news could be suppressed. But when the president of the world's strongest country itself is promoting fake news or misinformation, whichever you would like to call it, then what is the solution? There is no solution. Then the whole world listens. The whole world is not listening to Trump. The whole world is listening to who? The president. That is what is important. Okay? The two claims that he made are proven false according to n number of data. Okay? It's not just one. Wherever you see, and just point of fact, India did its last test in 1998 on 13th May, and Pakistan has the habit of copying us. Just within 20 days, they also did it 30th May 1998. And not important, just a fact to remember. So these were the 2 points which Trump claimed but were like absolutely false, and the whole intellectual world knows it is false. But I don't know how such an educated population like America is buying such facts. The whole, now they've changed the name of the Ministry of Defense to Ministry of War. How is the whole American population accepting it? We don't know. Just something is going on which I'm not able to comprehend as of such. See, North Korea, last it had done in 2017. Okay, that is the last. After that, it hasn't happened. But according to Trump, it is being done. Now, what are the consequences, as I said? See, everything is going on in background. The news has recently surfaced because nuclear was highlighted. Nuclear weapons was highlighted. But in the background, new arms race is going on. Okay? History always repeats itself. After World War I, what happened? There was uncertainty, there was confusion. Everyone was developing their weapons and no one was telling each other about it. That is why after World War II, the concept of globalization and UN came up, that we need to discuss, we need to tell each other what's going on. But prior to that, just after World War I, what was going on? There was an arms race. Who could have the most deadly weapons, the weapons of mass destruction? In the present context, after the same things are going on. Like in movies, you see it like everywhere. History always repeats itself. See, this is what is going on. And just to understand, there's no such formal term known as new arms race, but you might have heard it in various articles, various podcasts or somewhere, that it hasn't officially been accepted as a term. But to understand its meaning, we'll see what's going on. You've all heard the word of capitalism, right? Simple meaning. Now, what is neo-capitalism? Liberalism, then neoliberalism. Colonialism, then neo-colonialism, right? The original word is there, then neo is added. Neo in simple means what? When government supports you directly or indirectly, then the word neo is added. Don't think of the neo as Matrix movie Neo, like capitalism, simple. But when government started supporting it, liberalism, simple. When government started supporting liberalism, even in the sense of colonialism. Earlier what? The British government itself was a colonial country, but now through its various other companies, Coca-Cola, you might have n number of examples. When government indirectly supports those countries which are doing colonialism, then it becomes what? Neo-colonialism. In the same way, there was an arms race, as I said. After World War I, there was an arms race. Now, what is a new arms race? Now, see, if anyone is doing something which is sort of negative or contradictory to what anyone wants, peace wants, then always a few definitions come up. In the same manner, here are two definitions. One is the scientific one, which the world wants you to believe, and one is the in general one, which you see, but we can't say, you're comprehending it, but you can't say it out publicly because the governments won't accept it. The scientific definition of new arms race is what? New weapons, better weapons, spacecraft, space shuttles, all these weapons. Cyber warfare, space warfare, all ballistic missiles, the highest in the tech. Now it's coming what? Cruise missile, BrahMos missile, whatnot. All that comes under new. But the actual meaning, according to tradition, is when government increases up its role, when government steps in and is supporting arms race. What is happening in Russia-Ukraine war? Two governments are supplying weapons. Like, that is the government role, na? Otherwise, no private would, but governments are supplying weapons. That is new arms race. And we'll see just exactly, keeping this example, Russia and Ukraine in mind, what is happening. Understood? And I said consequences of confusion and uncertainty. Okay? Now see, here's a very famous Tomahawk missile. You might have recently heard, with President Trump also mentioned it, that any individual, any high intellectual individual needs 6 to 12 months to learn how to train to use this missile. Just how to use this missile, you need a minimum time period of 6 to 12 months. And it was made famous like last month or so when bunker busters, right? We'll see in the next slide. When USA attacked Iran's supposedly nuclear sites bunker buster sites through this Tomahawk missile. Okay? Now famous missile, we all get it. It's become famous missile. Now what happened was, Ukraine said it wants these missiles. Okay, Russia, USA and the whole of half of Europe is supplying arms, ammunition, weapons, cruise missiles, what not to Ukraine. But what is so special about Tomahawk missiles? You see it through this map. Visible? Okay, somewhat visible. Earlier, whatever missiles Ukraine used to get was, they weren't capable of reaching the interiors of Russia. They weren't capable of reaching or striking Moscow. But with this Tomahawk missiles, whose range is what? 2500 kilometer. It can easily strike, if you can see, Moscow and St. Petersburg and in-depth areas of Russia. That is why this is important. Now see, this is 50% of the news, which the common people are telling you. Okay. Why is this special? So when it is special, USA said that we are thinking of giving it to Russia. And in the meantime, Russia came up and said, no, you will not give it to them. Because if you do, that means you are coming in direct confrontation with Russia. It's simple. If you are helping my enemy with such weapons, which can invade my capital or strike my capital itself, means you are wanting to be at loggerheads with me itself. So the deal hasn't gone finalized yet, but still it's in the works. It's also a cruise missile, just a basic definition, that it can easily maneuver. Okay. Evade radar, simple facts. Range is the most important thing. Now see, this is what the media is telling you. Ukraine itself has its own version, it's called the Flamingo missile, and the best part is, it's got a range of 3000 kilometers. Then why is this not in news and why is Tomahawk in news? In simple, Ukraine produces this itself and the maximum production rate per day is 3 missiles on a good day. So they need more missiles. That is why they need Tomahawk, because America is an arms production like God house. It can produce it in seconds, minutes or hours. Much better than what Ukraine do. So it's about the numbers also. And the other is keeping USA involved. Okay. See, without USA or without the help of Europe, Ukraine would not have survived this. Right? That is why, just to keep USA involved in this triangle, Ukraine, Russia and USA has to be there. That's why USA also, America also, it wants to be involved. And such things are also keeping it. So there's a psychological impact also. Deterrence is also that USA is involved. Someone is behind your back. Like USA is also behind the back of Israel. You'll see. This was the whole first part. See, this is in 4 parts. First is how USS Tomahawk is changing the shape of new arms race. Second, we'll see how Russia, in its counterproductive nature, or to some extent supreme nature, like this is sort of missile. Now Russia will bring about a much better version of something, we'll see. So what is this happening? Technology is fueling more technology. Arms race is being a race of more weapons of mass destruction. Your weapon can destroy more. Okay. Here's the Russia part now. Now this is I'll try to pronounce this, Burvanitskik. Okay. Now this is a global range. Okay. It's a nuclear powered cruise missile. Okay. It's not a nuclear warhead missile. That's the difference. It does not carry nuclear weapons. Its reactor is based on the function of nuclear technology, not its weapons. Just keeping that in mind. Okay. Now how is it different? It's simple. It can go around the world non-stop. It does not need to land or come back. That is it. It's just like now the whole Western world is trying to have nomenclatures for it. For example, nuclear powered cruise missile, tiny flying Chernobyl. NATO itself is calling it Skyfall. Skyfall has a very negative meaning. The peace, the quiet before a destruction is called Skyfall. So NATO it is calling what? Skyfall. Best part, it has ranges. In the test flight, its range was 14,000 kilometers, like 14,000 kilometers, just imagine. And the airborne time was around 15 hours. Like, there's no stopping it. It does not need to take a halt. That is the technology. That's the technology of nuclear. So they've just applied it to a missile. Okay. Now, as I said earlier, I missed that point. In the Ukraine page, after just getting the Ukraine missiles, what Ukraine said, journalists asked, now why do you need this missile? So they said it is an act of deterrence. It will show deterrence and will have a psychological impact. Like you're wanting weapons of mass destruction and then you're saying it's just for psychological impact. In the same manner what Russia did was, it showed the whole world that it's got such a devastating missile, cruise missile, a nuclear reactor cruise missile. And then it said that it is ready to extend the START treaty. What does START treaty mean? START treaty means a treaty which USA and Russia had to stop arms race, to stop Padu weapons. So they had a treaty which was suspended a few months earlier because of the Ukraine-Russia issues. But now Russia is saying, no, I am ready. After showing such a powerful weapon, now they are saying, I am ready. And just for fun fact, USA also had tried such a project. It was known as Project Pluto in the 1950s. Now just see the minute details. Okay? Where did this test flight take place? It was in a region called Novaya Zemlya. Why is it important? For prelims point of view. It is located where? In the Barents Sea and Kara Sea. Just remember, this is Russia, Finland, Sweden. You need to remember this for prelims. Okay? Now, second part. When all this was going on, very silently, Russia also introduced another submarine. Russia's mega nuclear torpedo sub, which has not, the world has not seen nuclear torpedoes as of now. But Russia has made it, and it was again test fired or launched from the same area, Novaya Zemlya, Barents Sea. So you need to remember it. It's a nuclear torpedo. Just imagine a submarine which is carrying nuclear torpedoes. So what is this? It is an arms race. Now, arms race is a very subtle way of saying it, and it's just a race of who can destroy the world faster. Who has got the weapons to destroy the world faster? That's some nomenclature. Now see, next. We discussed about the superpowers. Okay? Russia. At some time there was a superpower named USSR. That's another story. But America and Russia. Now see what the smaller countries. South Korea, very peaceful country, very technologically advanced country. What South Korea is doing? South Korea has also launched Yunmu 5. And its name is Monster Missile. Just imagine the name itself. It has Monster Missile. This is the graphic representation of it. And as Ukraine said, what? Psychological impact. Okay, deterrence and psychological impact. What did Russia say? It is ready to start the renegotiate or start thinking of the START treaty. And in the same manner, what South Korea, after developing such a missile, saying it is a balance of terror. Just imagine, balance of terror. It is terror, and they are somehow trying to balance it. Now see, everyone develops their things according to the time, according to their needs. Like the present threat of South Korea is what? North Korea. So it is not developing missiles which can go very far away. It is trying to develop missiles which are short range but have huge impact. This missile is very big, as you can see. It's approximately more than 5 tons to 8 tons. In perspective, it is 4 times heavier than Agni 5. That is the capacity. See, Agni 5 is a long range. But South Korea doesn't need range. Its border is North Korea. What it needs is like unlimited destruction. Therefore, and its official name is Yunmu 5. Just remember, balance of terror. Now, this is exactly what? This is a bunker buster. Now, when did bunker buster become famous? When you'll just see this image and remember. This is a B-2 bomber of USA. It had bombed Iran nuclear sites. Bunker is, this is bunker, and it's very deep, and such powerful missiles can just go deep and destroy your enemy. That is the idea of bunker buster. Okay? Understood? Just remember, balance of terror. This is what is going on. So these were prominent examples. Now we'll see what consequences it leads to. Like everyone is watching everyone. It's a globalized world, right? Everyone will take steps. Like in the next slide we'll see Qatar. Okay, let's see, then we'll discuss. Okay? This bunker buster, just remember these 3 names. Fortos, Nastas and Isfahan. I'm sorry for the pronunciation. These 3 were the locations where B-2 came and bombed and used its bunker buster missiles, the Tomahawks. Okay? See, it's written Tomahawks. Okay? So you understood what Tomahawks are? The Ukrainian version is Flamingos. Now the last slide. What other countries, smaller countries, less defense capable countries, what they are doing? See, just to start with the example, we'll take 2 examples. One, it's not graphically depicted, is the case of Afghanistan. As you have listened in news, that Pakistan's Air Force bombed Afghanistan and killed multiple civilians, including 3 cricketers of Afghanistan. A very sad story. Okay? But what will be the next step of Afghanistan? It will try to do what? Have an air force of itself. Or it will try to do what? Increase its defense spending so that it can retaliate. Basic idea, to retaliate. Basic human nature is to retaliate. In the same sense, another example, if you see, a US ally, Qatar. I'll try to show you better. What's Qatar? Okay, see, this is a country over here, Qatar. How is Qatar important? Qatar is known as what? The mediator, the arbitrator. Like after World War I and World War II, Switzerland was known as the mediator, arbitrator. That is why most of the office's headquarters is in Switzerland. In the same manner, Qatar is also a mediator. How? See, where did USA and Taliban have talks? In Doha, Doha Accords. That is in Qatar. Where is Israel and Palestine talking? Just having a talk. Where? Qatar. Understood? Qatar is a very special country because it is close to both Saudi Arabia and Iran. Saudi Arabia being what? A Shia majority country, and Iran a Sunni. It has good terms with all these countries. That is why it is known as a mediator and arbitrator. And the best part is USA is heavily deployed in Qatar itself. USA has got an air base, Al Uid Air Base. It has got a CENTCOM in Qatar. CENTCOM means Central Command. Having all such power, all such deployment, USA's itself deployment, still Israel bombed Qatar. USA was protecting Qatar, but still Israel bombed it. So in the simplest of terms, what will Israel do? Sorry, what will Qatar do? It will try to up its defense budget, up its defense capabilities. Anyone would do. That's what this slide is showing. All this arms race is leading to what? Again, all this arms race is leading to what? Everyone is trying to protect themselves. Because see, USA was seen as the protector, but now its image is being diluted just because of President Trump. What will happen in what future will unfold, we'll see. But as of now, countries don't trust it because his words have no value. Like earlier leaders used to have value. That's an ethics topic. But simply, his words have no longer value. So what is Pentagon says Japan must have simple 5% of its budget. Imagine spending 5% of your budget on defense. Same is with Taiwan. Taiwan is also, China is behind its back. So this is the consequence. You need to understand, when the whole world is going towards arm race, no one is left behind. They are forced. You just can't simply be in peace. Peace is when you have a bigger step, when you've got a bigger weapon, like Russia, like USA, like India itself. That is and see, the very idea that why is war, why are we doing this is now irrelevant, outdated. War, machines, weaponry is a must for today. To have peace, you must have this. Thank you.